Many people have probably heard the news that the wealth of the 1% of people has collectively exceeded the financial wealth of the other 99% of the population. More precisely, the wealth of the 72 million richest people in the world, that's about 1%, has reached $125 trillion and exceeded the wealth of citizens of the rest of the world. You could be happy for someone, of course, but many of us around the globe regularly ponder at least two questions. Why does everything keep getting more expensive, and where can we find the money? For living expenses, education, food, healthcare, children, clothing, utility bills, purchasing a home and a car, not to mention entertainment, leisure, and trinkets. I will not try to figure out how it happened that we created an economy for only 1% of the population. This is a long and unpleasant story. However, let's try to break it down a bit and take a look at what's happening from a different perspective. Every day, coming to work, we unconsciously, from year to year, support this particular economic model, enriching 1% of the population and impoverishing the remaining 99%. But somehow that's the way it works. Am I imagining things? And here's the first absurdity. We work in order to finally become poorer. Although many of us think we are already rich once we get a paycheck. But it all depends on how you look at it, how you perceive it. Let's continue. In this economic model, a person is like a small cog in a giant machine, earning meager wages and being forced to hustle to survive constantly. Not live, but hustle to survive. Another alarming aspect seems to be visible, yet few pay attention to it. It is widely known that all countries around the world have external debts, exorbitantly large amounts. And no matter how anyone analyzes these debts, their terms, advantages, and disadvantages for the economies of individual countries, the fact remains, debt is debt. And since the state is first and foremost people, it means that people have a debt, which, based on this notion, requires repayment. To briefly summarize, we are debtors to the grave. Someone might protest, saying, "It can't be. Who do I owe?" That's true. And we give it back daily. The trick is that we pay back unnoticed through price increases, tariffs, taxes, fines, and so on. And then another alarm pops up. The global debt, which has recently reached simply astonishing levels. It is appropriate to ask, who owes whom, and where did this figure come from? The thing is, we will never know if the information is classified. And look at what we have here. Not only do 99% of the population, to put it mildly, desire to improve their financial situation, but we are also debtors for decades and decades to come. Some might argue that we cannot look at the economy so superficially. Specifics and details matter. But in my opinion, it is by looking at it from the outside and seeing the result that you can see both its absurdity and inhumanity. Consumer society and its economic model represent a one-way path that exacerbates problems for the vast majority of us. It is a yoke we harness ourselves to from birth and carry until death, to pass it on as an inheritance to our children and grandchildren. For 99% of the population, the consumer format represents oppression, a race for survival, fighting windmills, the purchase of emptiness in supermarkets, and illusions. Unfortunately, people come to realize this only with age. I do not mention the countless crimes committed in pursuit of money, the shady deals made at the expense of one's conscience, and the overall suffering that stems from it all. Someone might ask, well, what's the point of these discussions? What are you trying to prove? We won't change anything. Expressing outrage over the socio-economic structure and the resulting inequality seems utterly futile. Or perhaps. But I'm doing great. Business, work, career growth, and I'm happy. Yes, I enjoy it. That's fine. However, if one is intelligent enough, they should understand that their "I am doing great" within this system is a flimsy and shaky illusion because, in this system, they are nobody. We are powerless in a consumer society. Everything is bought and sold. Everything has its price, including priceless human life. Perhaps that is why the dream and goal of life to become rich is so popular today. Not useful to society, not happy, not spiritually free, but banally rich. And we are wasting precious time, and you can't rewind it or get it back. In the constant pursuit of this phantom happiness, to succeed in life, achieve something, assert oneself, or get by through the week until Monday. Who likes that? A rhetorical question indeed. Who is truly happy, if anyone at all? Maybe those 72 million who have more money than everyone else. Come on, don't make it up. Constantly fearing for your life and assets, is this happiness? And what do we end up with? We find ourselves trapped in a swamp because that's how everything has been arranged by someone else. So, I mentioned another problem. What's next? Where's the way out? And there is a solution, the creative society. And how will it be solved? Right. Let's understand it a bit, as many people do today. Let's take the seventh pillar of the creative society, justice and equality. I will quote, "Everyone has the right to private property and income. However, within the limits of the individual's capitalization amount set by the society." It refers to the limitation of capitalization. Capitalization refers to the total sum of assets a person possesses, including investments in real estate, stocks, bank accounts, and so on. If the sum exceeds the set limitation, the excess funds are directed toward the needs and development of the entire society. Someone might ask, what is that set limit? What is that specific amount? The limit of the total capitalization of no more than $10 million per family. I didn't come up with this. I only support what people who aspire to build and live in the creative society have supported. Tomatoes could be thrown at me. Oh, come on. That's impossible. Who would believe that? Who would agree to that? Who would go along with that? What are you talking about? Hold on a moment. Hold on. Do you actually have those 10 million? Is 10 million not enough? Is your third house more expensive? But do you really need it? Honestly, how many days in a year does it stay empty? And what is $10,000 a month? Isn't that enough for a comfortable life? I understand someone might be ready to throw at least a slipper at the screen right now. Some may disagree, but what about the others? The question is mostly about the majority. What about the rest? Let's gather together first, get to know each other, unite, talk, and discuss. Or let's consider something else. How much money can be freed up and allocated to meet the needs of all of us to solve the problems we have accumulated? In particular, the same unconditional basic income that provides by default for every human life on the planet, because there is nothing more valuable. And this is not utopian. What is utopian about the poor disappearing from the planet? The need that often drives criminal activities will come to naught by eliminating poverty. We can change everything, and everyone will be happy. After all, the creative society is advantageous for absolutely everyone. To achieve this, we must first unite and believe in it. Take the initiative to understand it ourselves without being lazy. Let's start today. Visiting the website. Let's explore what creative society is and its 8 foundations. Learn how to build the creative society worldwide in the coming years. To become a participant of the Creative Society project, click the View More button. Share this information in personal conversations, on social media, posted in mass media, television, radio stations, print publications, bloggers, participate actively in talk shows, news, create creative videos. Everywhere we can. Let's start doing something. If we truly desire it, we can achieve anything. This better world is meant for us, for our children. And one day, we will succeed. If we take action, it will undoubtedly work out. Join in.